Leave it
Well, Jamie and I are both laughing. So, welcome everybody to Heads and Dovetails. Let me share. Jamie and I are both laughing because I haven't got my glasses on. Zoom keeps changing things. And we both said we were talking about something. And I said, oh, we ought to just chat about this to Jamie. And Jamie said, just press record. And I'm like, where's the bloody record button? Heads laughing about it. But it's a good job we're both laughing, Jamie,
in.
because we've both got stuff going on, as I think everybody has these days. And we hit bumps in the roads, don't we? But, the bumps and the
Yeah. Yeah.
potholes, as I call them.
Well, there's plenty of potholes, isn't there?
That's a whole other story. So,
Oh dear.
yeah, we were just chatting, weren't we, eh? Because apologies, I hope you can't hear it. I've tried to find the quietest room in the house to come to, bearing in mind we live in a bungalow. Our subsidence, anybody who's been listening to us for a while will know we had a subsidence issue back in 2022 due to trees and vegetation around our property. And we are finally getting around to the repairs. So we're now just starting week 4 of the repairs, and it's turned out to be far bigger than they thought. And where do I start? So we have a constant humming noise and a pneumatic drill going, and then you might hear the dumper truck come round to the front with all the soil. So all fun and games here, Jamie. But we were then just talking, as we're both self-employed, about putting prices up because everything has gone up, hasn't it, Jamie? You were just saying, and
It's
particularly for you. I mean, do you want to share?
yeah,
You were just sharing the costs
yeah.
and
I mean,
how
it's
bad you feel because these are long-term clients, and that's the problem.
the thing is when so it's sort of we all know prices have been going up, but what's happened is my accountant in January said, why have you got two different rates? What's going on? Why is this going on? And I said, well, these guys were earlier and they were being with me, and he sort of looked at me because I'd said I was doing all right and whatever, and
Mm.
he said, yeah, but you can always do better. And then he looked at me, and I was just like, yeah, okay, but it's just, and I'm not going to say it's just everything. It's what it is when you go to replace something. So my accountant actually said, I sat with him, and he said, and I said, oh, there's a couple of pairs of glasses in amongst that. I said, because occasionally my glasses will fall off. And he said, oh, that's all right. They're only £2 or £3 for a pair of reading glasses, aren't they? And I was just like, Bob, they're not
No.
£2 or £3 anymore. And he said, no. And he said, well, the last time I bought some, I bought 5 pairs. And I said, yeah, but how long ago was that? Oh, oh, now you think about it. Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago. I said, you'll be lucky if you can get a cheap pair of glasses reading glasses under a tenner now.
Yeah.
I said, so you'll be lucky if you can find that. I said, they've sort of stopped all of that. I said, things are getting dearer. So then there was something else going on. I've got bandsaw blades to replace. They've gone up. They've gone up by how much was it? I don't know, 100%, more or less. Circular saw blades, they've
Yeah.
gone up. And then when you look at all your cutting tools, your cut things, I'm searching out the bargains. I really am. I mean, somebody said in
Mm.
my Thursday afternoon carving class, because I do a carving class now,
Oh,
Thursday afternoon.
wow.
Yeah, I've got some great things going on a Thursday afternoon. I'll have to take some pictures, put them on my Instagram, and I'll show you guys.
Mm.
And one of the guys said, "Oh, Jamie's brilliant on eBay. He's brilliant. He knows how to search out the bargain. And some things, a box for a Waterstone that I bought for £4.71. The last time I bought one 3 years ago. No,
Yeah.
£10 now. £9.97, including postage. £9.97. And it's just the number of things that have just yeah. So
I mean,
so then
postage included, Jamie, to be absolutely honest, because when you do see, and
yes,
I'm costing, how much will it cost to send my willow bird feeders because I want to put them on my Etsy shop. And
yeah,
so, I mean, they're quite big, but it's very light. It's
yes,
under 2 kilos, would you believe? When I package it up and I put
yeah.
it and put the padding so it doesn't damage. I mean, not that it will break particularly. So it just goes in a big box, take it down. First one, £7.65 to send it. And that was the cheapest I could do. That was not tracked, that was not first class. that was £7.65. So you kind of go, well, if if you're pricing it, I don't know, I think there'll be sort of £45 for the larger ones. I can't, if I'm saying including postage and packing,
You can't.
I can't, because that takes me down to kind of £38 if I'm lucky.
Yeah,
And that's not including the box, the packaging, the brown paper, all the rest of it. So I think, yeah, it's that kind of getting realistic. And the other thing I think that we're touching on, and I'm realizing, is why house insurance has gone up hugely,
yeah,
because we're
yeah,
making our claim is now massive to get
yeah,
our house underpinned. And I think I'm going to wait for one of the very eco people, because they won't take, if they'd taken down the large oak tree, it would have been a fraction, literally a fraction of the cost. The
and
tree
when would that tree have been ideally taken down?
that tree would have come down. I suppose we would have done the measurement. So we got the subsidence problem in 2022. It would probably have come down in 2023. But because it's an ancient, and don't get me wrong, I totally understand. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful oak tree. So
yeah,
I am in a complete dilemma over this. It's like,
yes,
should I be vegetarian or not? No, I love meat, but I don't want to kill animals scenario. I love trees. And we did
yeah,
get a survey done. Before anybody says, did you get a tree survey? Yes, we have the specialists out, we have the experts out saying the tree would not be a problem to the house. If they had said otherwise, or if there was even a hint of a doubt, we would never have bought this place.
yeah.
Anyway, you roll forward,
And
and
you had that
it's
summer, didn't you? It was that summer, wasn't it?
2022, that really, really hot summer we all
And
had.
that made the difference, didn't
And
it?
that made the huge difference. That made the
Yeah,
difference. And we know we weren't the only one. I mean, the
no,
insurance company claims just went through the literally through the roof. They were saying, when our engineer came out, he rang, he was due on the Tuesday, and he said, could they come on the Saturday, or could he come? And we said yes. And when he came out, he said, I bet by Tuesday, if I hadn't come now, there'll be at least another 100 claims on my desk. And when we saw him the next time, he said, actually, there was 150 claims had landed on my desk. We're talking to the underpinning guys. I mean, bearing in mind we're in East Devon, they're coming from Luton and Dunstable. We've got another pair due today, apparently, which are coming from Canvey Island. They are so short of people because the claims have just rocketed. And of course, on the back of 2022, we then had 23 and 24, which for the insurance companies has been flooding. So huge claims for flooding. Whilst I'm not somebody who normally supports insurance companies, you can kind of go, yep, I see the problem
yeah,
here. So whilst going back to the trees, there is part of me that wants to say, if somebody who, because it was a local community, so some group or other, we still don't know which group, who put in a huge complaint to stop the tree being felled. And as I say, I get it. You want to keep an ancient tree, and particularly an oak tree, but you do feel like saying, if that person complains about their house insurance costs going up, this will be
yes,
the reason why, because we
yes,
weren't the only ones. I mean, we know other friends who have been, caught, if you like, in the vegetation thing. One had his whole kitchen extension move away from the side of the house due to a neighbour's trees that summer. So it's that dilemma, isn't it? But costs, that's what I'm saying. Costs really are going
yeah,
up. It was the same
yeah,
sitting in the garage. And one woman was complaining about the cost of her insurance to the boss, and he's lovely. And after she went out, he said, the problem is people don't think about, like you're saying, the cost of parts. He said it's
I know.
phenomenal now, and because they come from abroad, they've gone up even more. He said, the cost of, think of the electricity my guys are using, or we're using in the garage with all the tools. And so he said the oil has gone up, the brake fluid has gone up, this has gone up. He said everything has gone up. He said,
Everything.
my guys' salaries need to go up.
Exactly, exactly.
So
I think if something had have changed in the government or the way things were run eight maybe 10 years ago with property prices in London. I mean, I put a lot
mm,
of it down to that. We're all feeling, everybody who thinks that their house is worth a lot more money now, or it is worth a lot more money now, they only make money if they sell it. That's the ripple effect of oligarchs buying huge places in London, and it just ripples out, and that's why people are moving further out of London, and
and that's it is
and
a
that's
pebble
affected
pebble in the pond.
everybody's wages. everybody now is affected by things that were sort of allowed to happen 10 years ago, when really we shouldn't have been welcoming so much money with open arms.
But then you do, because everybody's going, oh, I'm making money. It's a cycle. It's an
Yes.
absolutely cyclical effect. And a lovely client a couple of years ago recommended a book to me called, and I think I've mentioned it before on earlier podcasts when I was reading it, called The Fourth Turning. It's an old book written in the 1990s. But while I was reading it, I had to keep reminding myself, oh, yeah, that's exactly what's happening now. And it basically describes, and this is very, very basic, how we go in a cyclical effect.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
cycle one, then we go. So it's kind of explains how you go from the boom to the bust, and round
Yeah.
we go again, and round we go
Yeah.
again, and round we go again. And the only thing that they were saying it back in the 90s was that cycle is now not taking 100 years, it's getting shorter and shorter and quicker and quicker.
Yes, I get it. Yes. Yes.
But we go through the cycle and there's turmoil in the world. And it quotes way back, to sort of Roman times and before, as to proof as to how this cycle. And when you look, you kind of go, wow, this is really interesting. So we're what would be described, I think, the fourth turning, which is chaos at the moment. And that you take sort of 10 years to get through this sort of 10, 15 years to get through it. And then you go back into the next
Yeah.
dimension part, the next turning. So fascinating book. But like you, when you've had clients, you then go, oh gosh, I need to put that. Oh, but I know them so well, and how am I going to tell?
Mhm.
It's all to do with your mindset, as I
It
say.
is, but you don't want to
Um,
be the one to add to their problems. What's happening is, if you don't add to theirs, you're taking more load, and that's what's
yes,
been happening to me. I've
yes,
been
which
I've
you
been
can't do.
steadily getting less and less money,
Yes,
and now, because I've got quite a few people that I'm teaching, I can't take the bigger commissions on. So
yes,
now I haven't got the room, and I haven't got the time, because the big commissions take me too long now. Because once I start getting into a job, I have to clear all the benches. People come
yes.
in, do that, and then they go, and then I can put a couple of
And
things, get on with that for
it's
an hour and a half. Then I have to put it all away again, and then another group of people come.
this is the
And
catch 22, isn't it?
it
Because
is,
actually, if you could have a much bigger workshop, you'd have a space where you would be doing your commissions and that could
yes,
just stay there. Then you'd have
yes.
4 or 6 benches, or
Oh,
however many you wanted to take.
I'd be paying more rent.
Yeah, but and
Yeah,
that's the catch 22, isn't it? You'd be
yeah.
paying more rent, but you'd actually be earning more
And
if you were
then
doing
there's,
the commissions. And then you kind of go, oh, but am I still ending up earning the same
I
because
know.
I'm paying more rent? So it's that good old dilemma, isn't it? I mean, I've had a good dilemma. I thought last week work-wise was going to be quite quiet. Looking in my diary, I thought, oh, okay. And as you know, I kind of think I don't push for clients anymore. So I just thought, okay, it's going to be a quiet week. So thinking in advance, because you have to soak willow for sort of 5, 6, 7 days at least when it's cold. I put a whole load of willow in the week before. This is patience, thinking that'll be soaked, ready to do a whole load of willow weaving. Out of nowhere came 5 new clients, all personal referrals. So last week ended up busy. And I'm thinking, yes, but I've got my willow that I've got to use. Otherwise, it won't be in the right condition to soak. But a nice problem to have. So I'm not complaining about that. But it
Yeah.
is the mindset, and people are used to, everybody knows prices are going up, and it's in your head. You're kind of saying, I'm making it more difficult. But what you've got to do as well is stop putting your own financial situation onto somebody else.
Hmm.
Because to me, putting up a fiver might seem like a lot of money. To somebody else, it's nothing. They'll pay that for a coffee. It's
I
a
know.
coffee,
And I'm not
you
used to
know.
that. And what it is, and I'm
Yeah,
grateful to them all. Nobody has said, um,
I'm
I,
off,
I
sort
did
of
I
thing.
did struggle with it, Jill. I did struggle
I
with it,
Lots of people do.
so much so that on the night I was going to tell the guys, all three of them had got something to say about something, and the look on the faces, and I was just like, I can't say anything now. I can't say anything now. I won't say no. I'll leave it for a bit. And then when they were all in a good mood, I thought, I can't. I'm not going to spoil the good mood, because they've only just got in a good mood again. And I was like, no, I won't say anything. And then I'll tell you what it was. I'll tell you exactly what it was. So if the guys have got anybody to blame, It's my mum. I had a chat with my mum on the way home, and she said, "So did you have a word with the guys about the money?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Coward." And I was like, "Mum," I said, "You can't say that." I said, "You weren't there." She said, "I'm only joking. I'm only joking." Well, my head's not the best head, and I went to bed, and that word "coward" came up a couple of times. I woke up the next morning. I've never written something so good. A bit long, but they have to be
Yeah.
sometimes. I wrote it so well, and I read through it, and then see, this is where the worrying comes. I rang my mum and said, "Do you want to listen to what I'm going to say to the guy?" "Go on then." And I said, "What do you think?" She said, "Yeah, that's all right." Because part of it was, look, I understand if you, because I'm not heartless.
Yeah.
I understand um, if it's too much for you, if you want to drop a week,
Yeah.
and maybe the group drops a week, I'd have a night off, but you wouldn't have to pay out so much money. If you feel you want to do that, then, and all of them, bless them, they've all said, "No, no, it's fine, it's fine."
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the worry, all the preparation, all the
Correct.
stuff that I couldn't, and and I do appreciate them. I do appreciate,
That's,
and my money is, I really don't earn much. You probably know that, and I value it. I value
yeah.
all of the jobs.
I mean,
So,
it always is that putting prices up, and people always, not people, I'm generalizing now, but you've got to be really careful you don't generalize in your head, as I said, that, and for some people it's well worth it. It's their hour away, they're learning something new, they're
yeah,
learning a new skill, because you're not charging like a course, Jamie, if you know what I
no,
mean. If I was buying a course, I'd be paying £1,500 or I'd be paying X,
I
Y,
know,
and Z. So, yes, it's the story we tell ourselves in our heads. And
yeah,
I think we've got to be really careful about that story that we tell ourselves, and that occasionally we do need to review and look at ourselves. And obviously, in my situation, I'm hearing clients telling me what sort of debt they're in, etc. And I've got to be really careful that I don't take that on and be, oh, I can't possibly increase my price because I'm just adding to their debt issue.
yes,
And it's
yes,
actually, I'm sorry, I have to learn to live as well,
I
and
know.
cut my cloth accordingly. So it's a story we tell ourselves in our heads. But anyway.
Well, one of the things that sort of tipped it was at the Ruskin Glass Centre last week. We had a wellness weekend thing
Hmm.
where there were a few tables and you could do a few little courses and things. But this one woman came into the workshop and she was on about she'd been to this drawing class, a
Mm,
well-being drawing class, um, that was a free taster. But if you signed up for the course, it was this much money. And I said,
mm,
"Wow." And it was basically £30 for 30 minutes for somebody to analyze your drawing, not necessarily teach you how to draw. You would draw things and then they would talk about what you've drawn. And I thought, £30 for half an hour. And I was thinking, hang on, £60, £120 for 2 hours. And I was thinking, I don't charge anywhere like that. And I've got overheads, I've got benches, I've
hmm
got machines, I've got insurance, I've got
hmm
wood, I've got sharpening tools, I've got sharp tools, I've got all these things. She's just got pen and paper.
Yeah.
And I
And
was
that's when
thinking,
you do kind of have to take it
wow,
into context,
yeah.
you
So
know? No, I admit I am not the cheapest, and I will say to clients, this is my fee. And if they come back and say, I'm sorry, that's too expensive, I totally understand. And I'd say to people, I know this is a financial commitment. I am not tying you. I mean, lots of
yeah,
coaches do tie people into a minimum. A mutual friend of ours, when I realized what she'd paid somebody for 6 sessions who was absolutely had the reverse effect on her business, then you kind of go, whoa, I'm really cheap compared to these people over here. And of course, people just say to me, but you haven't got stuff. No, but it's the amount of money. Again, I was talking to a solicitor, and if you think about how much money they have to pay out in insurances and belonging to professional bodies and you just think,
yeah,
oh, they're just sitting at home doing, no, there's a huge amount of money. And it's
yeah,
down, isn't it, too, if you've got a website, paying for the website domain, paying for this, paying for that, paying for your public liability insurance. In fact, that's just about due as well.
I know.
So it's all those hidden costs, and we're all guilty of it. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm guilty of it when I look at a fee and think, "Oh, good God," and then
Yeah,
think, "No, no, hang on a minute.
yeah.
Let's put this into
Well,
context." But
for,
it's a
for me,
mindset.
for me, I think it's going to help me now. Things like that, I feel better about it.
Good.
I might do a wellness woodworking hour where people can come and plane a piece of wood for an hour. I thought, and maybe teach them how to use the plane, but plane a piece of wood, maybe get something flat or get something square. And I was being sarcastic. I was thinking, well, there you go. There's £100 for the first hour.
Yeah.
But as a wellness thing, and I suppose we've got to watch this. There's so many labels and things around now that I think, well, hang on, how can you, a bit like you've said in the past about coaching,
Yeah.
where's the experience, where's the qualification, where's this, where's that, where's the background, where's the, you need to ask all that. I've got City and Guilds furniture making and restoration and whatever, but there is something there, and yet I know people that are teaching woodworking things who have nothing at all,
Nothing. Hmm.
nothing at all, and some of the things they're doing, I'm just like, oh no, you shouldn't. That's no,
Yeah.
and I just put it out of my head because
Yeah, you can't, like, as you know, I
no,
go on about coaches that have no qualifications, no experience, yet they're on Instagram saying, I can help you make 150 grand this year and just do my course. And I've mentioned it before, when I've queried one of them, how many clients have you seen over this point? What, they just went quiet. I said, you didn't get a response. But
yeah,
yeah, it's experience. You're right. And people do. Sometimes people don't want to do a course, Jamie. They just want to. I'm owning up, not owning up, nothing to hide. I'm really looking forward to a willow course that I'm doing at the end of April to make square baskets because it's a very different skill to do a square basket to a round or an oval basket. You have to have a
okay,
jig and the way the whole thing. So I thought, you know what, rather than just look from the book, I'll go and do a
yeah,
course. I think
yeah,
it's 10 till 4 and it's £95. And you think, okay, there's, obviously lunch in the middle. So that's what, 6 hours, maybe 5 hours
yeah.
that I'm paying. But done
That's
like that
good.
on one day, absolutely, that's good. And then you look at, obviously, if you don't know, there might be one, two, three, four of us. I don't know how many are going to be there. And
Yeah,
that's the other thing, I think. If you put a course on, you've got to be really careful not to keep cancelling, because it's the only person. When I did the obelisk course a couple of years ago, there were only two of us. And it was a short course, it was about 3 hours, and I was happy for it just to be a morning course.
yeah,
Again, I think we've got to run in our head that maybe there's a skill that, oh, actually, I'm not very good at planing, but I am good at sawing, but I'd love to learn how to plane
yeah,
properly. Or I'd love to learn how to do a dovetail, but I don't need to do anything
yes,
else. I just want to learn how to do
yes,
that.
yes.
So I absolutely think there's place for those, what I call mini little courses.
That that will happen in time. That for me, that will
Yes,
happen in time. It will be, and I probably will just do 1-to-1, 2 hours on what you want to do because you
yes,
pretty much and almost with a little, and if we need a bit longer, we'll add
yeah.
a
Yes,
bit more
I mean
time.
that's absolutely what I would like, and I know Mark, the woodworker that I was learning with, he offers a
Yes,
Friday, so he keeps a Friday, and he's so booked up because there was actually, there's a chest of drawers I'd like to know how to repair, but I want a one-on-one with
yes, you
it,
do. Yeah.
and therefore that would have to be on a Friday morning, and he's so booked up
So he's booked up with people doing little
with
woodworking
people wanting to
courses.
do one-on-one. They come and choose what they want to do. Some people like me want to bring an item to repair and want to
Yeah.
know how to do it properly. Other people have something they specifically want to make as a present, or how do I do this? And that's all they want. They don't want the general classes. And he is
Yes.
so booked up. I think, and of course people expect to pay more because it is one-on-one, not like his
Yeah.
general course. So there's always lots of options and variations and way of doing that,
Watch this
going
space.
forward. Yeah.
Watch this space. What else are we? What? How are we
What
doing
what
for
else
time?
are what else are we going
We're
to be
all right.
talking about? We're all right, we're okay, because you and I had a
Okay.
good chat when we started. But yes, so anything else that you would like to talk about that's come up for you recently?
No.
No.
No, my head is full of my honestly, I tell you, so I suppose this is the thing, Jill. This is the thing to talk about, which is so much has happened in the last 3 weeks
Yeah,
that that
got to empty your head.
I've gone into myself a lot. I'm aware
Yeah.
of that. The good thing is, and I suppose these are the good points. I don't know whether you remember I said that I mean I did used to drink a little bit of whiskey a few years ago, and probably when we started this podcast, I was probably still having the odd whiskey. I only have a glass of whiskey now to celebrate something, and I had a day last week or the week before, can't remember, where I just thought, you know what, I'm going to. I think it's because I've been trying to look after my body a bit as well. And I just
Hmm.
thought, oh, I'm going to have that chocolate bar. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a glass of bloody whiskey as well. I'm just solid. And I was, and it was really quite nice. But I'm conscious that I've been not brilliant with the family. Okay, with a lot of them, I suppose, but not very good. But it's a funny time of year with you've got January over where you've got to sort your tax out or whatever.
Hmm.
February is for us a busy month because birthdays and all sorts. But it was that since January, working out
Yeah.
what I've got. So I've been very much in my head and not talking to the family as much, not spending a lot of time on my own, I suppose, in the workshop, then coming home, doing a few things,
You're
going to bed.
overthinking. Yeah.
Yeah, a
So you
certain amount of overthink,
stay in your head.
but not in a. Yes, some of it was bad, but then go through some meditation, go through some stuff, go through like a body scan or whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Go through well, I'm lying here. I tell you what we do in the yoga, which a few of them do, which is sort of noticing things, and they every time
Mm.
they say this thing, which is, and let go of the tension in your jaw, and you go, and your head goes, what tension in my,
Oh, that
oh,
tension,
that,
yes.
oh, right, yeah, blimey, yeah. And it's like, oh, you read my mind. But they say those things, and um
Well,
that's
actually, that's where we
that's
start
helped.
hypnosis.
Sorry.
That's how we start getting people relaxing for hypnosis and hypnotherapy.
Is
Is
it?
actually you talk about, okay, now close your eyes and okay, pay attention to, your eyelids, let your eyelids relax, let your
Yeah,
ears relax, and as you say, you think, my eyelids, what are you talking about? And then you're, oh yeah, actually, I'm having some tension there.
yeah.
And we work, and this is where yoga often confuses me because I'm so used to working from head to toe. So you go scan down the body, let
Oh,
the
yeah.
tension drop. So you're going down to grounding. Whereas in yoga, they tend to start from the
Feet
feet
up,
upwards. And
ground up.
immediately I'm going, no, 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 in my head, that's wrong, that's wrong.
Round up.
But that's the difference, I think. So we can talk about is you've got strategies and there's nothing wrong. Like I
Yes,
go out for my long walks
you
and
do.
people
Yeah.
will say, well, why don't you talk about it? You've got to talk about it. Sometimes just processing. And I think that's the important thing.
I,
It's about
yes,
processing. So those new clients I've got, interestingly, 4 out of the 5 are all male.
I'm not
I mean, not
surprised.
all male, but you know what I mean? They're males.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, 4 out of the 5 new clients are males. And it's exactly that. They just need to be able to talk, to sort some stuff out in their own heads. And I think that's great,
it
and
is.
it's
It is. You've got to have something, and the other thing, Jill, that I think is really important. I've mentioned this to a couple of my girls recently. Don't think, in my opinion, don't think that strategy you've got for whatever to do, or that hobby, or that course, or that thing. Don't think that you've got to keep doing that. That might
Mhm.
be the thing that gets you
Mm.
from 2 months ago to next month. After that, there
Mhm.
might be something else. There might be something else, and that thing, that whether it's yoga or Pilates or whatever
You're right.
it could be 6 years, it could be 20 years. That's great, but if it doesn't too long, no, you can say, well, that helped me through that. That's great,
Correct.
and you can still access it. You can still do that if you want to, if you need it, and recognize it as, this is really good for me if I do it. But I don't have to do it all the time.
And that's why I think it's always important. And I, as a coach, do that on a regular basis. Between Christmas and New Year is what I call my massive reset, where I
You
look
do?
at
Yeah.
what am I going to do. But I also, through the year, do what I call mini little kind of reflections, mini kind of, do I still want to do this? Or should I be doing something else? Is this working for me still?
Yeah.
Or should I change? Because obviously, when something works, you move from one place to a different place. So what you needed then isn't what you need now,
Now, yeah.
and therefore moving forward. And I think we were talking about this with regards to membership groups, etc. And I think talking with Janet Henson about it and other people, that you might join something that you want to be part of and a membership, and great. And that's what you need at that point in your life. Maybe it's to make new friends, new contacts, or whatever. Like you say, go to yoga. But actually, 6 months down the line, you might not want to be part of that group anymore. It's
Yes.
done, it's
Yes.
achieved what I wanted it to achieve for me. And now I'm ready to move to another group. And I think you have to be well aware. So I think mini kind of resets or mini
Yes.
kind of reflections that go, is this still working for me? Yes, it's still working for me. Great.
And
But
that,
be honest.
yeah, and that mini reset in a way is what you can be doing when you go on one of those walks.
That's exactly what I do.
It's not a walk for an hour. See, this is the thing that bugs me. I'm not going to go walk for an hour. No, it doesn't matter how long you walk for.
Exactly.
I've got to do 1500. It doesn't matter
No,
how many. You can walk slowly. You
yeah.
and because I don't like competition, and I think competition spoils some things if you're doing it for yourself,
Mm,
for your mental health, for your
mm,
well-being. Yes, if you want to be a racer and you want to do that's a totally different thing. Not on that, but
yeah.
if you know, don't. I think I've said it before on this podcast where Lucy and I were in the woods and this guy was running past with his
That's right, you
earphones on
said.
and his
Yeah.
watch on and whatever. And I was thinking, mate, you're probably trying to do yourself some good, but you with all the gadgets and the things, you probably just need to stop and look up and
Yeah.
get all the headphones off and just be more aware of what's
Yeah,
going on
which is
around
why
you.
I don't take them. I was out in the garden this morning actually, and the I mean early, and the cacophony of birds was phenomenal. And I thought
Yeah,
I'll go back in, and I did come back in, and I got my phone and I'm just going to open up. I have a an app called a Merlin ID app, and this is for when I'm walking, and I use it
yeah,
at the weekends, knowing that, when I went for my walk at the weekend in the wood, the birds were singing. I thought, oh, I
yeah.
wonder if any of the summer or spring migrating birds have made it. And actually did, have a little look. And I did some today. I was outside and I thought, oh, I wonder how many birds I've got on there. And it was a huge number. She says, trying to find it, of course, on her app, and she can't. And the list just went on and on and on of all the birds outside singing. And I thought, this is amazing.
Yeah,
This is absolutely
yeah.
amazing. Just standing there listening to the birds. And no, I can't find it as usual, of course, because of course I haven't got my glasses on, Jamie.
Oh, Jill, you haven't got your glasses. Oh, can I just tell you? Can I just tell you? I went
Yeah,
to the
go on.
petrol
Gonna
station the
put
other
them
day.
on.
I went to the petrol station, and you've probably noticed, Jill. I take my glasses and I hang them over my the
Yeah.
the
The
front of my
top of your
t-shirt
shirt.
in the
Yeah.
neck, which you shouldn't do. Anyhow, I went into this petrol station and I've got my card, my loyalty card. And this young girl must have been 20 something behind her. And I said, so where do I tap this? And she just looked at me. She didn't even say hello or anything. Very straight faced, not in a bad mood. She was fine. But she said, she just sort of tapped her finger on this machine because there's like three different machines sitting there. And I don't know which
Yeah.
one's the one. And she went tap, tap, tap. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, okay. So I did that. And then I swapped it. And then I pulled out my wrong card in my wallet, and I thought, no, the business can't pay for my petrol. My private has to pay for my petrol. So I put that back in, and she said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." I said, I haven't got my glasses on. Right? And then I tapped it on, and she went like this. She sort of tapped her front to show where my glasses are, and she said that you've got them around your neck, and I said, "Yeah, yeah, I know I've got them. I know I've got them. I said, it'll happen to you one day. You'll get old and your vision will start going. I said, and then you'll get really, really miserable like I am sometimes. But it
Well,
was, and
having
but she laughed. She was happy. But sometimes you don't have your glasses on.
Yes, exactly. Well, I have now, and this morning, just in the garden, there was a blue tit, a common wood pigeon, a chaffinch, a great tit, a collared dove, a Eurasian wren, a goldfinch, a robin, a blackbird, a magpie, a woodpecker, and a pheasant,
12.
all
Well done.
recorded on my little
Wow,
app, all identified. So I love that
that's
little app
good.
for that very reason. So
That's good.
that was good. But yeah, it's making sure that every day is a good day, acknowledging your strategies, which you've got. My strategy, as you say, is I every now and then go and stop. And that's when I look at my emails sometimes, membership groups, subscriptions. Do I still need to subscribe to this YouTube channel or
Mm.
whatever? And I think when you're the person on the other end running the YouTube channel, it's not a personal attack against you that, oh, I've lost a subscriber, I must be doing something
Feels like
wrong.
it sometimes,
It does feel like it. I understand that.
but it's
But
not.
it's also from going, do you know what? I just wanted to see Jamie, for example,
Yeah,
sharpening chisels. I don't need to
yeah.
see all these other apps,
No, you
but I
don't.
know you're there. So therefore I know to come back to
Have
you.
you unsubscribed, Jill? Is
No,
there
I have
something you
not
need to tell
unsubscribed.
me?
No, no, no. I just using that as an example as to why people do it. But the good thing is, you know that person's there. It's like learning YouTube at the moment. Clive's doing a great job of that with
Oh,
thumbnails. But
honestly,
after a while, you don't need that channel anymore because now you're away and you know how to do it.
he's
So
doing so well.
I
He's
know
doing
that was
so well.
I
I,
think last time we
I
looked, we were at
honestly, I've got YouTube envy. I looked at his thing. I was just like, flipping it, Clive. You've put. I told somebody here. I think I told Lucy or something, and I said, flipping heck. I had 152 views on my last video, and Clive's had what was it, about 80,000 the other day
oh, he's up to over 113,000 now on that one
on
video.
one video.
But of course, so it's gone viral. Not bad, is it, for somebody who should be retired and just started doing it and thought, oh, well, I'll have a go. It keeps the grey cells moving. And
I
of course,
hope,
the important thing is the subscribers. We need to get to 1,000 so he can
yes. So,
then.
yes, please subscribe to Laurie Van Truck
Laurie
because
spelt
LAU,
Lauri
yeah, I told my mom and she said,
RIE.
somebody's got a good sense of humor.
Yes, and that's my husband.
Very good, very
So
good.
yeah, he's doing really well, and it's the subscribers. But like you said, it's then we've noticed all the other videos have
I
increased
know
from the hundreds into the
they do.
thousands.
They
So
do. And you
anyway,
just need that. You really do need that. And I had a video do incredibly well in the
I remember
first
you
year.
saying,
It did really well, but I hadn't got monetized.
yeah,
Wasn't
we're the same, you
monetized.
see,
And
not
and
monetized.
that's what's got to happen. That's normal.
Yes,
And you've got
yeah,
to, it's like stocks and shares, they can go down as well as up, and chances are it'll go down every now and then. But
yeah.
he's doing brilliant. And
But if you,
he's editing. I was watching it and I was just like, who's flipping edited this for Clive? And I was thinking, Jackson's done it.
no,
Jackson's done it.
no,
Then I messaged you and you said, no, Clive's done it all himself. He's watched YouTube. And I was just like, blimey heck.
yeah, he's done all the transitions. Somebody has picked him up.
Brilliant.
That there's something like in one lyric of a song, he made me laugh. He said in one lyric of a song, there's something like a Chevy 52, and he couldn't find a photograph of a Chevy 52, so he's got a Chevy 63. And one man or somebody has commented, if you're going to do this, just be a bit more careful with your photographs because the song lyrics say this, but you've got the car that's this age. And I said
There's
to Claire,
always one.
he's a petrol head like Jackson. Of course, it'll
Yeah.
stand out like a sore thumb to him.
Yeah.
I said,
But
I wouldn't even notice because I don't know the difference between, I don't know if it was a Chevy, but you know what I mean? I don't know the difference between a Chevy 52
I
and a Chevy
saw it. I remember it's
54,
red, isn't it?
So, yes.
The red one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he couldn't find one that he could use of the right age. But I said to Clive, that's fine. He's a petrol head like Jackson.
And
So
if
things stand out.
and the good thing is making those mistakes. If it gets a comment, that's tick
It's
the
a
box.
comment. Exactly.
It's good. It's good for you.
Exactly.
So,
So you see, there's always positives,
can I
Jamie.
just
And
say just one
yes,
more
go on.
thing? So, a
Yeah, do.
little bit of advice for Clive and yourself. Tell him to do a playlist.
He's done
So,
a playlist.
has he done different playlists?
Yes, he's got about four different playlists. He's got
Oh,
one for
there
the
you go. I'm
Cajun, one
sure.
for the He's got loads of different playlists. I've got a playlist for our podcast. I've got a playlist for, I don't know how I did it, but I've accidentally seemed to have a playlist for Heads and Dovetails. I've got a playlist for
Yeah,
Jill HB and Friends.
yeah,
And I've
there
got a
you go.
playlist for, I don't know, I haven't
Because
got round to it. Time's
if
been
he, what I was going
short.
to say was, if he does, it's sort of counterintuitive, but I think it might help. If he does a playlist that could be ad free, I don't know how you do it, but if he
Um,
could do, I know, if he could do that, so it's 4 or 5 songs, because I think the thing is now, the kids will say, well, I'll go Spotify for it, and they won't have ads and whatever. And that's a pain. So
Uh,
I don't know how
except
you do it.
it's not on Spotify, so they won't find it on there. This is why
Well, there
one
you
lady commented. She said, "This is fantastic. I can now listen to the songs that I
so
haven't
good.
been able to listen to because I can just play them on YouTube." So
It's
there
so
you go.
good.
There's always positives. There's always a good day.
I
Go
listened to
on, one
some in
more
the
thing.
shower.
No,
Sorry?
go on. You're going to say one more thing.
I listened to some in the shower the other day. I got Clive singing his
There you
songs
go.
while I was
There
in
you
this,
go.
and it was great. And it was the advert and I was halfway through the shower, and it was an advert, and I was just like, oh, and I got wet hands, and
I
anyhow,
think you can do it when once you monetize, you can choose where you want the adverts to be at the beginning or at the end. You can actually
yes,
choose that.
you
So
can.
that'll be the next thing we'll be
Good fun.
learning. Jamie, good to talk to you.
And
As we
you,
say,
Jill.
there are bumps and potholes in the road, but just go with a ride and you'll come out all right on the other end. Is my theory. You take
We'll
care.
get there.
Thank you to everybody listening to us. I hope you've gained a couple of things again from today, if it's only one little kernel, or just had a laugh at Jamie and I having a good old, well, it wasn't a rant, it was a good old chat, Jamie, about life in
Yeah,
general. And every day is a good day if you decide for it to be that way. So there you go.
it is.
All right, take care. Speak to you in 3 weeks.
And you. Bye, guys. Bye, Jill.
Bye bye.